Imagine a world where the lines on your map simply cease to exist. This is not a story of a distant future. This is the story of how the world's greatest superpower fell and what rose from its ashes. It all began with a single, razor-thin election in Texas, a contested vote, a regional coup, and a total collapse of authority in Washington, D.C. Within weeks, the old federal system dissolved. What followed was the Great Balkanization. Look at the Northeast, once the home of Wall Street, Boston, and the federal government. Today, it's united with Western Europe in an Islamic state called the Atlantic Caliphate. When Washington collapsed, the secular, progressive elites of New York and Boston did not want to join the conservative heartland. Instead, they allied with Canada and Western Europe, welcoming NATO as peacekeepers to secure the coast. But the secular managers made a fatal mistake. To control the streets, they relied on a powerful revolutionary coalition, an alliance of radical progressives and determined Islamists. The intellectual foundation of this new state was built on the decolonial theories of academics, who argued that the old Western nation-state was an engine of colonial violence. Over time, the secular elites were pushed completely aside. The Caliphate expanded, merging the American Northeast, Canada, the United Kingdom, France, and Belgium into a massive transatlantic post-national Islamic empire. Today, they rule with a mixture of bureaucratic collectivism and absolute Sharia law. Just to the south, we reach the bloodiest border on the continent, the front line between the Atlantic Caliphate and Merica. Here in the old industrial heartland, the war never stops. Chicago is pulverized by years of relentless artillery, while Detroit serves as the Caliphate's primary armored command center in the Midwest. Against this, a fierce, unyielding resistance is pushing back. Anchored in Nashville, this coalition of troops from Tennessee, Kentucky, and the rugged ridges of the Appalachians is successfully launching wave after wave of attacks to reclaim the North. Even deep within the dense forests of northern Michigan, rural militias wage a constant, bloody guerrilla war against NATO patrols. To survive the onslaught, Merica has leaned heavily into its Christian heritage, framing this brutal border conflict not merely as a fight for territory, but as a holy crusade for the survival of the Christian West. Now look south. Across the Mississippi River lies the ultimate powerhouse of the continent, the Republic of Texas. Texas did not just survive the collapse, it expanded. Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana willingly joined the Texan shield for stability. But the most strategic victory was peaceful. The massive industrial hub of Monterrey, Mexico, broke away from Mexico City. They chose to work with the economic engine of Dallas and Houston rather than starve in the chaos. Texas is a nation of iron, oil, and gunpowder, policed by decentralized citizen militias under the banner of "We the People." When the progressive Islamist coalition took over New York, a massive, historic exodus of wealth began. New York's highly affluent secular Jewish elite, along with Wall Street's hedge fund managers and real estate billionaires, fled the city, leaving the caliphate behind. They settled in Miami, transforming it into a hypercharged global financial sector. With trillions of dollars in newly acquired capital, the Miami Cuban diaspora finally had the power they needed. They bankrolled a massive expeditionary force, secured by the local Proud Boys militia, and crossed the straits, successfully ousting the communists from Havana. Today, Florida and Cuba are reunified under a single, bilingual Catholic and Jewish corporate empire, flying the Cuban flag with pride. This geopolitical divide is mirrored in the economy. The Caliphate has banned private banking and enforced a strict anti-interest digital currency. Their programmable CBDC enforces Islamic social engineering. If you do something against the imam, the state can freeze your digital wallet. Ecotopia set up a similar type of currency based on your DEI credit score, using AI to determine your social status. The more privilege you have, the higher your taxes to the system. The rest of the nations completely rejected this digital control system. Instead, the banks of Miami and the oil fields of Texas run on decentralized Bitcoin and physical, commodity-backed assets. Every transaction is secured by the tangible wealth of the continent: Texas oil, Monterrey steel, and the gold of Greater Idaho. They are bound by a shared, unbreakable goal, holding the line against the globalists on the coasts. To the north, Greater Idaho stands as a fortress of rugged individualism, a sprawling expanse of mountain ranges. It is a land defined by gold-backed currency, open carry, and a deep-seated distrust of any central authority that isn't their own local council. The Denver metropolitan area, an island of progressive politics, found itself physically swallowed by the expansion of Greater Idaho during the collapse. Liberal refugees found their lifestyle under siege and began a perilous migration, trekking across the Rockies to reach the coastal sanctuary of Ecotopia, governed by queer Marxism with climate change as its state religion. Because Ecotopia's liberal population was largely unarmed, they were defenseless against their rugged, gun-owning neighbors in Greater Idaho. In their desperation, they welcomed the military of the Chinese Communist Party as peacekeepers. But the Chinese occupation could not keep Southern California. Stretching from Los Angeles to Phoenix lies Aztlan. Here, the street-hardened Chicano communities refused to submit to Chinese foreign rule. They allied with the Sinaloa cartel and took over large regions of the Southwest. Starting out as a brutal underground syndicate, the cartel ran a massive public relations campaign. They built schools, distributed aid, and presented themselves as the safe, moderate capitalist alternative. Today, Aztlan is a thriving, Spanglish-speaking capitalist state, a land of extreme wealth and legacy media and Hollywood influence, protected by one of the most ruthless defense forces on the planet, a nation with the most diverse population and a new, defiant vision of the California dream. Los Angeles remains the world's undisputed heartbeat of culture. Even in the wake of the collapse, the studios, recording labels, and fashion houses continue to pump out a relentless stream of music, film, and digital trends that the rest of the planet consumes with religious fervor. Through this vibrant, Spanglish-inflected aesthetic, Aztlan dictates the global zeitgeist from behind the camera lens, ensuring that while the old federal borders have dissolved, the seductive, sun-drenched allure of the California lifestyle remains the most powerful and addictive export on Earth. The old America is gone. In its place is a continent divided by ideology, religion, and survival. Which country would you choose? Comment below.